ఓం శ్రీ గురుభ్యో నమః. అందరికీ నమస్కారం. The famous sage Guru Nanak said, "But he who listens to even one teaching of the Guru, his understanding becomes a precious jewel." Here what he said is, it is very difficult to listen to the teachings of the Guru with your present being, and to listen to the teachings of the Guru, you need to completely transform your life. See, we go to the Guru, any Guru, and we hear with our mind and intellect. So, what does the intellect do? The intellect resorts to the judgmental pattern of whether the teaching is in order or not, whether it is right or wrong, is it believable or unbelievable. So, like this, it goes on judging the teaching. So, you cannot listen to the teaching of the Guru in this way. So, the Guru's teachings need to be heard with heart. They penetrate into your being when you listen with the heart. So, if you can go to the Guru only on a superficial state with a view to judge the way of his attitude or teachings, then that will not serve any purpose, and that will not help you in any way. You can go to the Guru only when you are tired of yourself. I mean, when you are tired of your logic in the objective world. Then only you can listen to his teachings. That's why people who casually go to believe or not to believe, and they believe what they like and they don't believe what they do not like of his teachings. So, it goes on That's why the disciples, the seekers, have to undergo intense pain, because the pain, that intense pain, is required to ripen you and your being. Only when you come to that ripening state, you will be able to listen to the teachings of the Guru. That is why so many seekers or disciples who approach Guru with doubts, questions and indecisiveness, without any faith in him, need to undergo this kind of intense pain to become eligible or to become receptive to the teachings of the Guru. We come across such disciples who undergoes lot of suffering and misery when they approach or when they are in tune with any master or Guru, because they want to fulfill their inherent desires, and they approach the master to get relief from those failures in their journey to fulfill their wishes or desires. It may be material or something else, whatever it is. The reason for those disciples to undergo the misery or intense pain is that facilitates them to ripen their being. So, when they approach that kind of a Guru or master, the master examines and understands the inner being of the devotee and disciple, and accordingly he makes them to undergo all that suffering and misery, and when they undergo that pain, that misery, that suffering, he will be always there invisibly to guide them in the proper direction. And when they are ripe for receptivity, at the appropriate time, he starts imparting his teaching for the well-being of the disciple on the path to divinity. You see how the intellect plays. For example, you are walking on a street, you come across a beggar who is hungry, you want to help him. So, then immediately the mind comes into the picture, or the intellect comes into the picture, and it says that he may not be hungry, but he is pretending to be hungry to drag some money from you. So, don't be stupid to oblige his request for alms. This is what the mind says, and you withdraw. But remember, love is an emotion. It requires no companion. Its path is aloneness. So, the heart, which is the source of love, has inspired you for a noble act, but the mind or intellect has come and suppressed that noble feeling of love. So, one should be very cautious and conscious of the games of the mind. So, Bodhi Dharma, a Buddhist monk, he went to China. So, he was sitting facing the wall. He said, I don't want to turn my face to any kind of disciple or human beings, because they are not receptive to what he says or his teachings. So, one day one man by name Hui Ning has approached the master and asked him to turn his face back. Bodhidharma said, I will not turn my face. Why should I? Then this disciple by name Hui Ning has said, if you don't turn your face, I am cutting my right arm and placing it on you, before you. Then the master said, what is the use of placing that, of cutting and placing of that right arm? Then the disciple said, if you are not satisfied, I will cut off my head and place it before you. Then the master Bodhidharma turned his face after seeing his right arm cut off. So, the point here is such a transparency, such a purity happens when you are connected with a master with total faith and surrender. So, when you are in the presence of the master, when you are in tune with total faith and surrender, then only you will be able to listen to the teaching of the Guru. So, when that teaching happens, it transforms your whole being. So, Guru Nanak further said, to see the God in all and never forget Him. That is constant remembrance of the God. Never forget Him. What Nanak says is Smarana, Nitya Smarana. So, the understanding of the teaching of the Guru results in hearing one of the secret teachings of the Guru, that is remembrance, never forget Him, constant remembrance of the Lord. So, what is that smarana, constant remembrance? Is, for example, a mother, a pregnant woman. So, during the days of her pregnancy, she constantly remembers the child within her womb, while walking, while eating, while doing everything. She remembers the child in her womb. But this is a remembrance with effort. She is conscious that a baby is growing in her womb, and she feels that sensitivity, and she always remembers the child, the baby inside, and her safety. And so, whatever she does it with the remembrance of the child. So, but here what Nanak is saying is, another example, repetition of a mantra. So, even repetition of mantra is maybe constant, but you can do it only for a certain period of time, and afterwards then again you have to indulge in other activities. So, what Nanak says is, this remembrance is a constant remembrance, never forget him. So, it should be effortless, that remembrance should be effortless. And how it happens? It happens when your being is filled with the Lord, with the grace of the Lord, with the mercy of the Lord, with the love of the Lord. When you sing, when you feel His glory in all aspects of your life, because He is behind your consciousness, He is behind your love, He is behind your all feelings of happiness, misery and what not, everything, biologically, psychologically and spiritually. He is there invisibly watching you all the time, taking care of you all the time. This remembrance arises into your whole being, every bit of your body, every pore of your hair reverberates with that remembrance. Then and then only it is called constant remembrance. That's what Nanak says, never forget him. So, when you do any act with his remembrance, any ordinary act with his remembrance, it becomes extraordinary. When you bathe in any stream, that stream becomes Ganges, the sacred Ganges. Wherever you remember him, wherever that constant remembrance is there, that becomes the temple. So, when you feel in every autumn of the nature, his remembrance, everything becomes holy, sacred, and your understanding becomes divine. So, that understanding of the constant remembrance of the divine is behind every act, feeling, is an internal bath in sacred Ganges, divine Ganges. So, Nanak says, sacred bath in rivers. What he means, sacred bath in rivers, is this understanding, this constant remembrance of the divine, that is an internal bath in Ganges. So, when you hear even one teaching of the Guru, not with the head but with the heart, even one teaching that transforms your whole being and your life becomes divine. Thank you.